For decades, we've seen images of Gaza in flames, buildings flattened, children crying, entire families buried under rubble. But this tragedy didn't begin in 2024, or even in 2008 or 1948. It's a story that stretches back over a century, a story of betrayal, of empires, and of unimaginable cruelty. A story that reveals why Palestine was always a target, and why it continues to suffer. The land of Palestine has always been at the crossroads of the world. Three great faiths, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, hold it sacred. For centuries, kings and conquerors dreamed of controlling Jerusalem, the heart of this holy land. In 1917, the British Empire issued the Balfour Declaration, a promise to create a Jewish national home in Palestine, a land already home to Arab Muslims and Christians for centuries. This was the first betrayal, a decision made by colonial powers thousands of miles away without the consent of the people who actually lived there. Then, in 1948, the Nakba, the catastrophe. Over 700,000 Palestinians were driven from their homes, forced into refugee camps, stripped of their land and identity. More than 400 villages were wiped from the map, their names erased, their history stolen. But the suffering didn't end there. In 1967, Israel occupied the West Bank and Gaza Strip, beginning decades of military rule and illegal settlements. Today, over 700,000 Israeli settlers live on stolen Palestinian land, protected by soldiers and laws that treat Palestinians as strangers in their own country. Gaza itself is a prison. For nearly 20 years, Israel has imposed a brutal blockade, controlling everything that enters and leaves. Children grow up without clean water, without medicine, without hope. 80% of Gaza's people rely on humanitarian aid to survive. This cruelty is not new. More than 800 years ago, King Baldwin IV of Jerusalem conquered the city and ordered the massacre of every man, woman, and child, Muslims, Jews, and even fellow Christians who resisted. He saw no difference between a soldier and a child. He saw no mercy in his conquest. Yet when Salahuddin Ayyubi, the great Muslim leader, retook Jerusalem in 1187, he chose mercy over massacre. He spared every innocent life. He offered safe passage to those who surrendered. History remembers him not for conquest, but for compassion, a lesson the world has forgotten today. In Gaza today, that mercy has vanished. Israeli leaders order bombings of hospitals, refugee camps, schools. Over 30,000 Palestinians have died in just the past few months, half of them children. Families are not just killed, they are wiped out. Entire generations lost in seconds. And what does the world do? Western leaders who preach human rights turn away. They arm Israel. They silence voices that dare speak for Palestine. Meanwhile, Muslim leaders, once protectors of Jerusalem, stay silent, afraid to risk their power, afraid to defy their masters. When Ukraine was invaded, the world rose in anger. Billions of dollars in weapons and aid, endless news coverage, every innocent death a tragedy. But in Gaza, it's different. The lives of Palestinian children are worth less in the eyes of the world. Their suffering is background noise, another footnote in the endless cycle of war. Yet the Palestinian spirit endures. They refuse to leave, to give up their land, their faith, their identity. Even as homes are destroyed and families torn apart, they stand firm. They know that to leave is to surrender not just land, but memory and hope itself. This is why Palestine was always a target, because it is a symbol of faith, of defiance, of everything empires fear. And this is why the world must not look away. Because the massacre in Gaza is not just a tragedy for one people, it is a test of humanity itself. In Part 2, We will see how the mercy of Salahuddin was replaced by the massacres of today. We will expose the lies and hypocrisy that have kept Palestine in chains for a century, and what we must do to end this genocide once and for all. I hope you would subscribe and turn on the notification bell for the next part.